How my small business survived the pandemic. Now, I know a lot of you guys know that there are a lot of industries and companies that actually grew during 2020 and the craziness that was going on economically. And that's true, a lot did. And I wanna show you in this video how my business, my small business, not these massive giants, my small business, not just survived, but thrived. Let's dive in. A couple years ago, I had a guy come to me and he said, hey, are you treating your cash in your business this way? And are you prepping this way? And do you got some securities? Have you built a wall? Have you built a moat around your business? And I was so grateful to hear what he said. We did it, and then the pandemic happened and we survived, okay? So I'm gonna share with you in more of the video, like some of those pieces. But first off, I just want you to know that it's not gonna go back to the way it was. It's not going back to normal. Right? To sit back and say, I'm not going to enter business until we go back to the way things were. That's not going to happen. Right? It would take an equally as large event on a global scale to push us back, but we wouldn't, because we know how things can be. Right? Think about how companies have adapted. We're going to talk about this in the video here. Second of all, I also want you to know that economic crisis is shown to happen every 8 to 10 years. Right? Every 8 to 10. So you got 8 years. Think of it like that. You got 8 years to bat the hatches down a little bit, because something else economically, statistically, is probably going to happen again. So to think like this is the only time, or I can't believe it's been that crazy. The pattern is markets tend to drop on a massive, the economy does, every 8 to 10 years, right? So these things that I'm going to talk about here are going to be things I'm not your financial advisor, but I'm going to show you 4 things that you can do to survive and prep for whenever the next economic psychoness happens. Step number 1, reinvent yourself. Reinvent yourself. And be clear on what it is that you do. One of my favorite stories from Russell Brunson, and I bring him a lot up on this channel. I sat next to him for 2 years, all right, and he's obviously very smart. So one of my favorite stories from him is when he was trying to figure out kind of what he does, right? ClickFunnels wasn't a thing. It was towards the beginning of his career, and he would attend these masterminds, and at these masterminds, they would say, oh, you have this problem? Go over to that guy. He's the email guy. And then someone would say, I got this problem. Oh, go over, that's the affiliate guy. Oh, go over to that guy. That guy, that's the webinar guy, right? That person over there, this girl over there, this is the traffic girl. And I remember Russell telling me he wasn't any of those. He would approach the marketplace and he would say, no one knew what he was. And so people would look at him in those networking masterminds and they would say, what do you do? And Russell would be like, I do all of it. But what's wrong with that? No one knows you as the blank guy, right? No one knows you as the blank, the expertise thing. And since they can't say that, people don't come to you. What do? Reinvent yourself and reinvent what it is that you do for the marketplace. And so that's what we had to do. I sat back and I said, okay, previously I've been the offer guy. I want to tweak it just a little bit though. The pandemic's going on, crazy stuff's happening. I need to reinvent me. And at that time we had a huge product line. We had so many products. I had 46 actually. I had 46 products. For the most part, they're all live. And I went back and with my team and we started thinking about the dream customer again. And I started thinking, with the problems that are now happening in the economy, does what we do change at all? And it did. It changed. And we needed to go back and we need to say, all right, our dream customer shifted just a little bit and we now solve this instead of that. Or we solve this and now it's more clarified to that. And instead of being the offer guy, I turned into the offer launch guy. And I became all about how to get people get their thing out the door, because I knew that's what they were going to struggle with. That actually meant that we had to kill 40 of our 46 products. And the other 6, we reinvented completely. Okay, I redid all of them. There's not as I make this video with you, there's not a product right now that I have that existed 6 months ago. We redid everything. Okay, and that was hard. That was a lot. But one of the first things, you have to respond to what's happening in the economy. So respond. And the way to do that is to get back in touch with your customer, figure out if your product line is exactly what it should be, and are you the blank guy? Can people say that about you? They should be able to say that in half a second. Oh, Steve, he's the offer launch guy. If they can't say that about you, they don't know what you are. Step number 2, you gotta grow your list. Right? You gotta continue to bolster your list. Step number 2. So what we started doing since we reinvented ourselves, we're like, man, some of our old list is gonna follow us, but there's a portion that won't. We need to get more people on our list again. So we started going out and trying to figure out how we could be relevant to the marketplace with all the economic crap that was going on. And so we did an event called Offer Launch, right? It's one of our big events we do each year. We did an event called Offer Launch, right? And it has the new reinvention inside of it. We went out and we cut out all the stuff that was offer, and instead it was launch. We got more clear on, hey, let's put these shirts out for free. Let's start responding to what it is that people are probably going to be needing and wanting from us. Let's start doing bigger consulting with larger people, and we'll talk more about that with those who are struggling so they can learn the lessons. Building the list and focusing on list growth, especially after economic craziness, it's literally one of the reasons we survived. Okay, I had to reinvent everything, but that meant I had to reinvent the customer, which means I had to reinvent the list. All right, so don't rest on your laurels in terms of your lists. If you have any, I have no list. That's great. You don't have to worry about this anyway. You can start from scratch. Okay, if you're like, hey, I have a list, sweet. Do they still want to follow you? Right? Did you respond? Pandemic's top of their mind. Did you talk about it? One of the so I'm in Russell Brunson's inner circle when it was open, and he since has closed it. And in that group, pandemic started, and somebody wrote in there, do you guys think that we should talk about the pandemic in our content? And I was like, absolutely. It just depends how you talk about it. If it's top of their mind and marketing depends on you joining the conversation in their mind, you should talk about it, right? You should talk about it, but be sensitive because people are really suffering. Right? It's how you talk about it. So we went back out and started creating all these little small lead generation funnels and all these little tiny products that could start pulling a new fresh wave of blood in, basically, right? New people in, fresh blood, based on what had happened and based on the reinvention that we had done. Hey, I'm gonna show you 2 more strategies, really down to these are really meaty strategies on how to survive crazy stuff that's happened. I'd love to know in the comments down below though, what is it that you did during the pandemic that made you at least survive, right? Was there a specific thing that you did, like, oh man, if I hadn't done this, I don't know how it would have happened, right? If I hadn't prepared in this way, I think it'd be cool to have a big list of stuff down below that everyone can learn from. Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe as well. It is free for you, but means a lot for us in this channel. Step number 3, build cash reserves. Now, I am not your financial advisor at all, but this is just what I did. One of my awesome financial advisor people for me, though, is a great guy named Brad Gibb. And Brad said, Steve, how much does it cost your company to run every month? And I'll just tell you, it costs us about 40 to 60 grand a month just to stay open. Okay, I got staff, I got employees, right? It costs me a lot. It's a real company, right? 40 to 60 depends on the what projects we put out as well. And so he's like, okay. He said, you should have 3 to 4 months of reserves in your bank account. I was like, that makes sense. I never thought of it that way. He's like, so you should really have 150 grandish in your bank at all times that you can get your. Hopefully it's cool that I just say real numbers, guys. I'm just being open with you. This is what happens, okay? Hey, you need to have 150 grand in your bank, and if you have less than that, feel the stress, feel the pressure. That's good pressure. But if it goes above that, I'll tell you what to do next, okay? And so what was cool about that is when the pandemic started, my reserve shoot was at 3 months. But as the pandemic started, I was like, we need to increase to 4 months. Okay, I don't quite know what's gonna happen. I don't know, right? So I increased my business savings up to the 4 months level. And as he has said, hey, now you're getting bigger, you should go bigger and go bigger and go bigger, whatever. But the whole point though of what he was saying is you basically need to go in and create additional reserves and buff up just 1 more month as best you can, right? Now, I thought this was really powerful, but I'll tell you that what this started with is me figuring out what my monthly spend was in the first place, right? Which the first time he said that, I gotta tell you, it was kind of like it was too big of a ballpark. I really didn't know. I remember I read a book about business savings and business cutting expenses. How do you cut more expenses with the company? And I strongly encourage you to do this. Again, not your financial advisor. Disclaimer, disclaimer. Everyone feel disclaimed? All right, right. Guys, go through your personal bank account and your business bank account, every transaction line by line. You should do that probably every quarter at a minimum. Because the first time I did it, I cut $16,000 a month in spend. $16,000 in monthly money. I was like, we don't really need that software anymore. That was part of that. We don't really need this tool anymore. I don't think we need this anymore. We don't need $16,000. Holy crap. Jeez, that is a lot of money. So I needed to make less to keep more. Does that make sense? I cut so much out. So I would do that. Go back through your personal bank account and your business bank account and just every quarter, line by line. What is this, right? Scrutinize every single penny that is leaving. Okay, every single penny is leaving. Know that number and then create the reserve shoot. However many months you want to have in reserve based on how big your company is. Hey guys, this piece right here will help you set yourself up not only for post-pandemic, but also help you move from survive to thrive during a crazy economic time. It's not uncommon whenever a war is happening, right, that if somebody leaves, right, think about that no man's land in between, right? If somebody leaves, if an army leaves, the others can move forward at no resistance, right? No resistance, you just walk right in through the front door, right? And now they don't have to fight to move that line forward, they just walk forward. It's a land grab. Okay, marketing is no different. Okay, it is a mental mindshare war. You're trying to make sure that you are what customers think about. And so it's marketing is compared to battle a lot, actually. And so think about this. Scary economic times, stuff, freaky things are happening and going on. What do companies do? They pull in. Wrong mentality. They pull in. What does that do for me? Yeah, you guys keep doing it if you want to, but man, it's a land grab. You need to have an expansion mentality during economic crisis. Expansion, not shut-in scarcity mentality. You actually need abundance mentality during a pandemic. This is actually how Grant Cardone got so big, right? How Robert Kiyosaki got so big. Right? It was during previous economic crisis that was happening, and everyone goes, oh, bat down the hatches, pull in. I'm not going to go and do anything that's big because we don't know what's happening right now. While Grant Cardone saw that as a land grab, he published harder. He dumped more content out there. He got bigger. Robert Kiyosaki did the same thing with real estate in terms of purchasing it, right? Big economic downturn. Oh my gosh, all his real estate's way cheaper now. And he just started expanding like crazy. What does that mean as it starts to go back up? Huge growth, faster than he could do naturally. Okay, and you need to have that same mentality as a business owner. Think about how you can expand with ridiculous speed while everyone else is pulling back. All right. Now this is where you have some, right? This is where you have some stones. All right. This is where you gotta mentally, woof, I'm gonna go after it. I'm not telling you to be dumb. I am telling you though, whatever those channels are that gives you customers the fastest and the best, double down on them and expand hard and fast. Because it's a land grab. As soon as it starts to recover and come back up, people get greedy again and they start trying to go back to what they had before and they find out it's gone. They stop putting effort and energy into it, and you now have their customers. All right, you need that mentality, especially during this that type of economic crisis. I know a lot of you look for free or cheap ways to grow your list, do exactly the types of strategies I'm talking about. I got a free gift for you. All right, go to internetlaunchsecrets.com. We're crossing $10 million right now as I make this video with you, and I really haven't spent that much money on ads. It's been a lot of free growth strategies, a lot of here's how we align with attention strategies, and you guys are gonna see 3 case studies of the top 3 campaigns that I do over and over and over that has literally resulted in millions of dollars, a lot of it for free. Go to internetlaunchsecrets.com and you'll watch it.